Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. What is my reality? What's up, Belethal? What's up, Alexander? Just working on another new melee map? Cool. I did try out your latest version of Hell Creek. I think a similar sort of sentiment was that air units are very, very powerful for this hitting the side bases, but I don't think that people have responded very well to the terrain changes. Like, by responded well, I don't mean that their outlook is negative. I mean, they don't realize that, oh, this map has this different attribute, and as a result, I need to behave differently. And so I almost wonder if maybe the value, since you added that ramp, I'm pretty sure, I'll just quickly open it up because might as well just take a look at it. But because you added this closer ramp, or did you? Yeah, you added this ramp near the minerals. It makes it a lot easier for you to move down and around, but you also left this area completely open as far as buildability is concerned. And over here you have this area, this like little platform, right? Which can also be used to like, you know, some tanks or whatever to help to secure the middle expansion for Brown. Or for the middle player, I guess. I look at that and I think there's ways around the power that air units have, and it involves just positioning your units in a bit of a different fashion. Now, maybe you could play this angle up a little bit more by migrating some of the... Oh, I see you actually did that change too with the middle. By making it so that maybe like the middle of the map had a bit more in the way of like ways to encourage that kind of playstyle, but I feel like people died to the air units because they weren't paying attention to the unique characteristics of the map more than anything else. So, Eidolon, so his Twitch username is Spider, SC Spider. He's got like 1 and 3 instead of I and E. But he was hanging out on Twitch earlier and found us yesterday. And but he just commented the single letter G. I think they may have fucked up there. So yeah, he was hanging out yesterday, and that was when he saw me like messing around with adding new tiles, like the high dirt tiles and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, can you do this and remaster it?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Fuck." So then he became interested in Hydra from there, because then I was like showing off some of the tech and stuff after I was done with the terrain. And I guess he was interested enough to the point where he felt like there was some value in it. So now he's part of the community. He joined after Fraud Night today, and he was watching the Fraud Night stream. And then, like, when at the end of the stream, he was like, "How can I help contribute to the project?" And I was like, "Well, isn't that just... It's just such a coincidence that you ask that, because right on the Hydra main page, I have a thing here that says, I want to help, and I provide some ways that people can help. I can also add in a little bit here that says... I should probably change this to be like... I don't know. I'll have to find a different tier there. But it'll be like... There's got to be some term between Epic and Ahmed tier that I can use here. But basically, I'm trying to figure out a way to conceptualize the idea that you would be becoming... maybe this will be Epic, and the other one is... fraudulent. Right? Because that fits with the Fraud Night. And then become Epic by creating melee maps and custom scenarios for us to play on game nights or during our game events. There you go. Yeah, become a Kenyan by contributing. Something like that. Suppose you should orient the minerals differently, but the player should have control of the low ground, so I don't think it should be that a big problem. Yeah, like I said, the fact that there's a way to get down here immediately and also leads directly to what might as well be your natural now, I feel like this solves a problem of the natural being kind of far in terms of raw distance to travel to, but also allows you to flank around in a defensive posture. And if you want to flank in a more aggressive way, you can go up here, assuming there's nothing stopping you. So there are two ways to skin this particular cat of flanking air units that are over here. And I think the changes that you made were overall positive. I know I didn't really talk about the map during the playthrough of the, like, during the Fraud Night. I also probably didn't talk much about the map when it came to like when you posted the update yesterday, because I wasn't even at my computer at the time, so I couldn't really give it a solid look. But yeah, I think that it ends up working out. There's still some. I feel like there's some awkward, like, straight lines over in the high ground area. I don't know what to really say about that though, because it's like I don't know what you do with that information. You know, I guess you would have to just reshape some of this to make it so that the cliffs were a bit more pleasing to the eye. Because straight lines like that are kind of, well, it's kind of unnatural, but it's also in a melee environment anyway. It's like not very pleasing to look at. Otherwise, I don't really know what you could do, and that's pretty much it. Well, that's always been the joke, is that we're all frauds, even though it says no frauds club. Yeah, so I'm actually going to work on, after I'm done with some photoshopping, which I'll start Photoshop for, I wanted to work a little bit on the brush palette for that. So stay tuned for that, but we'll see. So yeah. Now, Kian sent me a template that I'm going to tweak here. And I'm going to put it on the GitHub and the main Hydra page in the FAQ. Sorry about any background noise. It's raining and I have my AC in still, so you'll probably hear a lot of clinking. Hopefully my mic is removing a lot of that, but yeah, the brush palette was really, really useful for that. Thankfully. What's your new map? Is it in a different tile set, or is it also in jungle? So voxels were used in Red Alert. Let's see. A voxel represents a value on a regular grid in three-dimensional space. Voxels themselves do not typically have their position explicitly encoded with their values. Blah, 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 blah. Rendering systems infer the position of a voxel based on its position relative to other voxels. So I don't actually know how they work, but I can look at like red alert to voxel. If I take a look at some of this. So I guess it's probably more obvious in Tiberian Sun. And so, I mean, this isn't from the original game, but basically there's like ways that they have so vehicles like the walkers and unit sprites, well, and units like infantry or whatever were all sprites, but aircraft and tank vehicles, like vehicles that were moving around, those were voxels in this game. And this allowed for an accurate rendering of the sprite from all angles without it being a 3D model. I don't really know how it works because I'm not super invested into that sort of thing. Like, I don't really know that much about it. But it would basically allow you to, like, if a tank landed on a mine or walked over a mine or something, the mine was supposed to like bounce the unit up, or the explosion was supposed to have such force that it would shoot the unit up a little bit, right? So if it like propels up a little bit by a few feet and also like turns, you would be able to actually show that almost like a simulated physics system or something for the seemingly 2D object, even though it would not be a sprite, and it's not a 3D model because the game itself is 2D. And that's basically what voxels are. And again, I don't know how they work on a technical level, but that's in essence what the advantage of using them is. So I don't know how much of it is a simulation of 3D and how much of it is something else, but it's basically like all these tanks and stuff that are like vehicles like this, and the hovercraft as well, which I think are these rocket things in the back. Those ones were assembled that way. I don't think there are any performance issues with them, but voxel performance versus sprite. Maybe I'll find something over here. So there are vector and raster ways of representing images. Vector graphics describe the image with mathematical equations, lines, curves, and shapes. Raster graphics describe the image as an array of color values that are positioned one after another into a grid. Okay, so I guess voxel is like a 3D raster then? I'm not sure. I'm still learning. We can use the trick to show the volumetric nature of 3D geometry even in 2D. We can make an animation where we move the viewpoint around the object. So there's this giant document that you can take a look at if you wanted to. Have your way with the whole explanation there. Anyway, hopefully that explained it. So I was in the middle of writing all this. I mean, I didn't explain really anything, but you know what I mean. Yeah, the environments and everything that doesn't need to be represented that way would definitely still remain 2D. And again, maybe voxels end up being superfluous and we don't need them at all or don't want them, right? Not sure how it'll work out yet. Crash freezer desync. Now I got to take a look at my existing error file for context. Yep, I just publicated that before starting the stream. Thanks for hopping in. I'm just about done with this. Hopefully we'll have some better tiles for people to use in the future. And yeah, enjoy the LP if you end up watching that. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good time. Okay. Add. Okay, and then I just need to provide a link to the issues page here, and we should be good. Boom. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to do that's related to housekeeping is... Wait, what am I even doing? Oh, yeah. I want to quickly update the... remnants graphics. We'll try with this. This is much more reduced than the... It's literally cutting it in half, but it'll probably end up being better, if I had to guess. I thought there would have been Zerg building rubble somewhere in this list, but I guess it's a ways off. We need to get some wreckage graphics for air units and vehicles, so they leave behind some sort of debris in that sense as well. Oh, building rubble. Okay. So now I'm just missing the lurker and the medic, because those are somewhere else, I believe. There's medic remnants, and I just saw lurker remnants. So yeah, with any luck, this will be all of them. All right, so we'll try that. Hey, all the rain seemed to have gone away, which is nice. Oops. Okay. We've done that, so I can pretty comfortably say at this point that we can move on to shipping this update. Special state 1 on image ID. Okay, hold on. That must be like an observance thing, if I had to guess. Oh, here we go. We got another map to look at. So the third player is in an interesting spot because they don't really have a whole lot of, like, they could take this natural in the middle, I guess. Blue is in a tough spot, and purple, because their natural, I guess, is this side base over here, or it's the base in the middle of the map. I feel like, so there's like two main concerns I have. Well, I guess there's three, because three. So one of them is that these side bases seem like they would be interesting pathways to take, but they're not spacious enough with the resources, right? So you build a base over here, and you basically completely lock this entrance off. It's sort of like this in Fighting Spirit, which you may have some experience with, because it's like a very ubiquitous map. But Fighting Spirit has these like side bases with 2 ramps into them, but they're much more compact because it's like deliberately meant to be like you don't have that much build space or whatever. This looks like it was a pathway that was repurposed into an expansion or something like that. Or maybe it was just like an expansion that has a lot of space. So I would say like decide if you want low build space and an expansion, or if you want much more space in general so it can serve as a pathway while also maybe serving as an expansion. Otherwise, I think like that might be fine. I don't have anything against that in theory. So the other of my 3 concerns, the second one is the ramp up here and the ramp down here in the bottom right, so next to red and orange, so close to the bottom of the map, especially the north-facing one, feels so claustrophobic to actually send units over there. My initial assumption based on that and based on the spacing in general is that you might be missing out on opportunity because the map is small. I don't know what the dimensions of the map actually are, but I think that generally speaking, you should, like, if it's a 6-player or more map, you probably want it to be around like 192 squared, somewhere in between 192 squared and 256 squared. As like a general rule. Obviously, you can go smaller if you're targeting something like Radiation Hazard is an 8-player map and it's much smaller. It's 168 by 160 or something. So it's much, much smaller. And in that sense, it's like it's targeting a very specific kind of experience, it seems like. That's what a map that Veek made. Now, I don't even know if that kind of experience works in Hydra because, like, I mean, I guess you can rush stuff, but that's targeting like a 15, 20-minute game time. This map seems like it would be better served if you either decided to go for the early game stuff or you decided to go bigger for later game, like longer games, while also facilitating like more expansions and better spacing between the bases. Obviously that doesn't feel very good to hear, I'm sure, if like you to hear that maybe you should redraft the map with a much bigger size or something like that, because obviously it's a lot of work to get everything done. But that's my immediate thought process looking at this stuff. Is I'm not 100% sure how it's going to look, like how it's going to work out. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, if it's only 128 by 128, like that's probably an okay size for a 1v1 or 2v2 map. It's still kind of on the small size for 2v2, but I think that can still work. I would say that the larger map sizes will help you, like, it increases the margin of error such that any spacing errors you might make. And I make spacing errors. Everybody makes spacing errors in their maps, so it's not even something to be like caught up on necessarily. It's just something to watch out for if you can. But anytime you make spacing errors on a larger map, they matter a little bit less, unless it's like so big, like the Mothership, where it feels kind of aimless in some places. That you really have to be a bit more on point with your terrain, like in the core, like the central area where you're going to be taking fights. But when it comes to maps that are in that in between zone, where they're not too small and not too large, if you pick an appropriate size for the player count, something like a 160 by 160 or 192 by 192, I feel like generally speaking, you're gonna have, as long as you have like a 192 by 192 map, I think that's the size of Polar Fortress, which is obviously an 8-player map and feels pretty large generally speaking. I think if you pick smart start locations, even a 6-player map can be that large for the sake of having that much, you know what I mean? So I would, yeah, if you found that you yourself were running out of space during this, I would definitely suggest remaking it in a larger size. So I would jump all the way up to as high as 192 by 192, but like you said, at least 160 by 160. I think 192 by 192 especially will give you a lot of space for you to work with when it comes to making those decisions for adding paths between bases and like really bringing them to life and fully justifying certain aspects of them. The good news is you're using the symmetry stuff, so it's not going to take you forever to make stuff like that. You can just like space out the bases and then start to connect everything. But I think that the layout itself, if extrapolated out to a larger map size, definitely has some potential. I like the fact that you have those different starting locations, similar to you did this in Hell Creek, where obviously you had the middle players have a different outlook, a different game plan, generally speaking. and different starting locations, whereas like the rest of them are symmetrical. I think that works out fine. So in this case, the middle players are like, oh, I'm a little bit further away from my base. You just need to add a little bit more. Maybe they can have like a backdoor base or something that's like a little bit easier for them, a safe expansion, so they can you can still play as Zerg from that place, because it's going to be really tough to play as Zerg in one of these middle spots due to your lack of proximity to the expansions. But whatever you end up doing there, like I think it's fine to start with that idea. Is basically what I'm saying. Right. The creating more space behind where the player is essentially is what you have to do in that situation, which is what you're spot on about that. So I would love to see how you modify that basically. So will be neat. I can quickly whip out a if I find my map, I can quickly whip out the what am I looking for? Zergo 2. I'll make a quick brush palette for the ramps of various sizes, as well as the south-facing ones. Yeah, I know. It's going to be really nice. I'm sure I have a east facing. Oh, maybe I don't actually. Classic. Okay. So that's done. I'm not doing the all of the blends for all of the different occasions, but I think it'll be fine anyway. God damn it. This is south ramp. I guess I'll also make brush versions of the actual doodad as well, just for this, so that we have it in the same spot, so you don't have to run into the doodad layer. I told DF I wanted him to make versions of the staircase, north-facing staircases, which is basically impossible for due to the spacing. So yeah, in the event that you need to do something like what's over here, you'll have to grab another blend just by going into tileset index and then control left click. Well, I think you have to. I don't know what you have to do. Oh yeah, never mind. It's not doing it because I'm already there. So you control left click and it'll bring you down there. So yeah, exactly. So I will add that. And then we will be good to go. Close that for now. Yeah, that should be fine. And it says add latest iScript and graphics files. All right, so you should be able to grab the brush palette that I just put together. And the police are on the scene. Oh, never mind, it's a fire truck. Ahmed's in the neighborhood. So yeah, hopefully that makes placing the ramps a bit easier. Oh. It looks like I already had at some point had attempted to make a Dirtcliff stack PSD. But that did not go anywhere. So All right. Added a little note there for the README. And now, before I start on this, I'm going to use the bathroom, so I shall return momentarily. And I have returned. You ever think you only got to use the bathroom one way, but then find out you have to use it another? Okay, gonna put some music on, for me only, of course. And otherwise, we'll see what's up. Gotta get this stuff taken care of. What do we got here? Oh yeah, I have some shit in my watch later. Okay, so here's the deal. We're gonna save this as Dirtcliff stack. And I gotta turn this music down a little bit. I was thinking of what kind of visuals we might have if we have north-facing cliff stacks. But you don't really have the same kind of thing, I feel like. So maybe we could do something completely distinct with that. Maybe we would do something like... Oh yeah, we're gonna have to cut this temporarily. Let's open this up in the other end. All right, so oh wait, maybe I don't have to cut that actually. Or do I? Oh, okay. So we would need this to be like the stack lower, and this will be stack higher. Okay, so now we have this. And obviously we can move some stuff around here. So once we are done with all this, we can just... I should be able to select the bottom rows here. Oh, well, I guess I'm going to have to do it a little bit differently, right? So... And then we'll have to do something like this, right? Oh, hold on. There we go. Maybe it's fine. I'm not really 100% sure. But either way, I think it'll be okay for this sort of thing. Now, I didn't even think about doing this before, but it seems like it might work out. Okay, so I do see what the problem is with the lower layer, and I do need to mask it out, because what... Yeah, I'm going to need to mask that out. But I think I can automate that to some degree. I don't think it'll be a crazy endeavor to do that. Looking for solid shapes here. Okay. In theory, I should be able to copy this down and do a whole lot of Control-M-ing. Okay, so that should add a little bit more flexibility, but I mean, who knows, right? Now up next, I'm gonna have to grab this. Oh, well, I guess I'm gonna have to do it this way. Oh, I have to do it the other way. I might be doing this in a really dumb way. Hopefully, it's not so dumb as to make this take really long. Wait, what? Okay. So now we're starting to see where I went wrong there. Basically, we need to okay. That's what we needed. So now we can have high dirt and then just low dirt. All right, now that I've figured that out, I should be able to move on here. All right, well, I tried to do it a little bit more intelligently there, but unfortunately, if there is a smarter way, it eludes me right now. Wait. Okay. There's probably some sort of keyboard shortcut that's really obscure or something of that nature that will do the trick here, but it's all right. Thankfully, we could brute force this particular way. Okay. So now it is possible to cliff stack with the north-facing cliffs. Not bad, to be honest. So now we need to do something kind of similar to what we just did, but for the south-facing cliffs. Wait. Oh. Now, obviously, we don't want it to be all the same way the whole way down. So we're going to do something similar to what we did before. It's looking quite nice so far. I can't believe it's that easy, too, for these. So obviously I'll have to do a little bit of cleanup here and there. Okay. So we did that one there. That one there. I don't remember where this one went. Looks like under here. This one looks like it was over here. Okay. So we have a basic setup here, but we don't have the edge cases, all the different edge cases, like, for example... Oh, well, I guess first we should do the... copy and paste of the various stacks. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, and then we'll just do, wait. Yeah, they should be completely missing there. Oh. This is the same issue as before, though. Where we need these to be masked out. Okay. We're getting there, guys. We're trying to figure some stuff out. Oh, wait. Most of these won't show that much, but the ones that do show a little bit are going to be pretty important, in my humble opinion. Like this one being dirt, for example. So if you wanted to slap... I mean, I guess I'm kind of going off of coastal cliff at that point, but you could see where it would be useful, nonetheless. Like this one in particular, it's pretty obvious. I might have the wrong ones there. I might be looking at yeah, I do. It's okay, we can just do this. I don't think it even changed that much, but what's up, Waller Skates? How you doing, man? You enjoy sifting through those 2,000 files? What else have you been up to? Anything fun and exciting? Oh yeah, I guess you wouldn't be able to have the corners stacked on top of each other. That just wouldn't make sense. Multiple days of just sleeping through chainsaw noises. Yeah, you had that psychotic tree. Yeah, you might as well while you're up there, right? Baleful. Yeah, I will make a note to add bridges. Yeah, probably should have cut down the trees before you replaced the roof. I can see where your line of logic is there. And yeah, I have been making some pretty big plans, including tier 4 and tier 5 tech for Hydra. Obviously, we got plans to do like our own RTS at some point. We just secured the interest, we'll say, of a guy goes by the name of Eidolon on Discord, but Spider on Twitch. He popped into the Twitch stream at some point yesterday, and since then, apparently he's like an actual software engineer. Like, guy knows his shit when it comes to general programming, and he's interested in learning game dev and getting back into C++ specifically, which I guess he has some experience with as well. he's probably going to be pretty huge when it comes to general work. And so, just having somebody who's even if all he ends up doing is just like playing and giving feedback, because he's also like a melee map guy, and also occasionally like giving feedback on the code base or refactoring some stuff, or like even if his involvement is limited, anybody to help out a little bit with the programming is so fucking nice. So that guy just alone will probably help us quite a bit, if I had to guess. Oh, and then I can just do this. All right, hold on. We should be a little bit more organized with this. There's some sound effects in my background that you guys probably can't hear, but it sounds very strange. It's like, maybe it's from the music, actually. It's like some aliens shrieking or something. It's very strange. Could also be my mom sneezing, I guess. Sample. Yeah, I didn't use those for the Wyvern, but that's not to say I didn't earmark some of the stuff that you did send me for future use, because I did. Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm not using any of this stuff at the bottom here. But I am going to use... I'm going to need a couple of sections like that. Okay. So if we do something like this, I'm just going to copy and paste this down here. And we're going to move this take this, copy it, paste mirror, and then we're going to find this, and for now we'll block that out just so it's less distracting. Okay, now we've finally taken care of this. For this particular section, I'm only going to do the basic stuff. I'm going to do the first 8 of each. And we'll see where that takes us. So that's 7. And what the fuck was the other one? Oh yeah, I'm gonna grab this one. Okay. So now should be good. I don't know how they do those, so I'm just as lost as you in that respect. All right, wow. Yeah, who knows? I mean, I guess they probably have some sort of software thing. So if I do the outer corner over here, or the inner, I don't know what that is. Oh, this is probably just this. Yeah. So this is inner corner. Kind of flying blind here, but that's okay. What the fuck? Oh. And then oh wait, I guess it would be the bottom? Is that right? Alright, I can just copy and paste it from up here. I might be a little too tired to keep track of all the moving parts here, to be completely honest. But I think we're getting somewhere. I just need to... Yeah. Oh, I see what I have to do. Okay. So now I have to... do this, I guess. Okay. I don't know if that really did anything. Wait, what? Oh, did I really fuck it up that badly? I guess the answer to that is usually yes. So. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere? Question mark. Probably. Now if we take the south cliff and we just bring it on down. Oh. What the fuck? What? How did this happen? How confusing. Okay. I think I just copy and pasted the wrong shit, basically. But that's alright. We figured it out. Okay. So now we have that. Oh, I see what I did. Or do I? Wait a minute. This isn't right. I don't think it is right anyway. Pretty sure it's wrong. But I don't even know what I did. What did I get instead? I guess I got that? Wait. I don't know what happened. All I know is I selected the wrong fucking thing, so. Like, it's correct here. Oh, no. Okay. I know what happened. So these need to be redone. Is all. Okay. Oh, wait, I got the wrong one. Okay. Now we're good. And now. Oh. Well, this ain't right anyway. We need to grab the stuff like this. I wish it was not so fucking confusing, but of course it has to be. Because I just don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. So this is where I think I need to break it, you know, run on down over here and grab this stuff so that I can roll into here. Oh, okay. I already did this. Nice. I thought I fucked up and neglected to do that, basically. So. Well, I guess the only issue is I It's not really an issue as much as it is an oversight. Because they are all supposed to be going the same direction, so that was just me screwing up, basically. All right, this should be a... I don't know if it's a complete cliff suite for this. What's up, Meow? Dude, what should I call you, Meow, or do you have a name you'd prefer to be called? Ah, minimized. So I'm not sure, like, I really don't know if this is 100% everything that I would need, per se, but maybe it is. I am not sure. So here's the other issue, though, is I don't want to keep all of the extra tile space in here, all the extra tile data. So I think I'm going to risk carving everything up here. We had this. Just call you M. You got it, dude. All right. Maybe we won't actually do that, and maybe I will just take the easy way out over here for now. Mostly because I can't fucking... This is something I can organize later, and it's not even really the end of the world that I might have to do some management afterwards. Yes, you can. So if you were to download Hydra, you'd be able to pop in, play the game, you know, pop it up here like this. And, oh, that does remind me, I should probably ship the updated versions of the campaign maps. All right, so maybe it's actually fine if I keep that observer slot open as a human slot. Oops. Okay, so Yep. So basically, you would pop in here and say you wanted to play one of the missions right now. All you would have to do is find the map file. So if you end up going to the GitHub, which I'll show on screen as well. So you follow the download link in the description of the YouTube channel or YouTube stream here. You up here where it says code, it might say like download, or it might say something different for you because I guess I'll just do this. Oh, it does say code. Okay, so you would just pop in here, and there's a download zip option. So when you do that, assuming you have 1.16.1 already installed, all you're going to need to do after this is wait for it to finish downloading. It's about it's probably a little over 100 megs, if I had to guess. You open it in 7-zip or whatever you use for unzipping files. Unzip it. We'll close this. And then you've got everything here. The mod should work. Just double click it. It might get triggered by antivirus software. Don't worry. It's a false positive, but antivirus really don't like mods for Starcraft because they inject code using the same methods that a virus would actually use if it was trying to harm your computer. So the antivirus is just looking out for your best interest, but it doesn't know how to tell if this is a safe file or not. So then once you have this whole thing downloaded, you can take this Hydra maps file or folder and move it to your Starcraft maps Brood War folder. So wherever you installed 1.16.1, you go to the maps folder within that directory. Then you go to the Brood War folder within that directory. Well, really, it can be anywhere, but Brood War is easier to access. And then you can make like a new folder called Hydra, or just paste it in here, and it would go in there. And then you'd be able to find the maps to play them in single player. Now, if you want to play them in single player, you can do so through the multiplayer menu or through the single player menu. The reason why I say through the multiplayer menu is because in the multiplayer menu, you can do a few other things like changing your slot. So if, for example, I decide to go through TO1, well, I have a different version of the map. The version that's on the GitHub has these slots open for human use. But in TO1, if I wanted to observe the player, or if I wanted to be in the second player's slot or the third player's slot, I could do that by going into the multiplayer game. You can't do that currently through single player. We haven't added that functionality in yet because it's going to take some time. So that's the only reason why you would potentially want to do it in that method. So hopefully that helps to get you set up there. And you can also play on melee maps. Some melee maps might not work out too well, and also if they have critters on them, the critters have been replaced with other units, so they might look a little funky. Nothing really bad should happen, but just something to keep in mind. As a result of that, you can play with melee AI. Just be advised that it's kind of dumb with micro. This is also the case for the campaign missions, but melee AI is just a little goofy sometimes. So. Well, the default melee AI does that. Hydra's melee AI does not. It's just a little dumb with micro. Like it hasn't been updated yet. What's going on, man? I see you've discovered the YouTube channel. Okay. Boom. We've done it. Now we got to add it to the tile set, if that's at all possible. Now, I think that should work out just fine, even if it looks a little wonky for now. So here's hoping. Because that also means that we will have a kick-ass new set of stacked cliff graphics. Just going to import it twice. Now, I think it would be entirely high over here. Yeah, it would be. Oh. So I can null those. Actually, yeah, I should probably just null the whole thing, huh? Because I don't think there's a reason to have like. I think it's fine to make it all of it the same height level, basically. So I'll have to clean the tile set after this, but that's okay. Okay. And just go ahead and set them all to unbuildable. And voila. Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to just do unbuildable in that case than what we were doing. So let's do mega tile. Oh, okay. Aren't you in fucking Texas or something? How do you guys ever have AC? Like, I figure your existence must depend on working AC. Oh, there are no unused mega tiles. Nice. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save this, and we'll try it out. I have not removed the old ones just yet. I will be doing that later. But I think I'm the only person to actually use these tiles. So thankfully, I don't think there's much of a worry there. Just going to close all these and reopen the... Oh. Do you guys have like central heating and AC? Like central conditioning? That might have something to do with it, I guess. So like you have an HVAC system or something. Oh, okay. So there might be now you guys are going to have to call in the cleaners is my understanding anyway. Man, when it rains, it pours. Dude, why is this song so much louder than everything else in this mix? You know what that means? It means you skip. Because I guess whoever mixed this can't handle the responsibility. Oh yeah. So because we did it that way, we're not really going to be able to do it the same way as before. Man, I gotta tell you, it's gonna make a pretty big difference around here. Oh, wait, was this it? Wait, what was that? Oh, it's probably this. Yeah, it was. So we're gonna move this over here then. And then we'll do... that. Okay. I guess I should make sure that I crossed my fucking T's over here. All right, so that's done. Was there any? There's just this piece over here. Oh no, there's also this piece a little bit further back. All right, cool. I think that's the only bit of stacking that I did in this map. So there you go. And up next, TO1, I believe, has some. If I had to guess. No, nothing? Maybe ZO1 does. Huh. Well, I guess that only makes sense. I'll just add a little bit of decor here and there. All right. Hope you enjoy. Let me know how it goes. Now, surely, yeah, there's a little bit of stacking over there and then the bunch on the top right, but I think that's it. Hopefully, I can justify doing a bit of work with more involved cliff stacking in the future now that we have a bit more at our disposal in terms of tools. Nice. All right, I think that means that we've done it all. Oops. Oh man, of course my fucking recent files just destroyed me. What a shit show. Should have looked a little bit closer at the well, at the recent files. All right. Well, at least I'm a bit more familiar with what's going on, so this won't really take that long. I still got to check it after I'm done, so... we don't have support for new isometric tiles. So if I were placing like jungle, for example, I could do like this. But we can't do that for any new tiles we add. Unfortunately. Would definitely speed some shit along. It's another thing we would research if the tool was open source, but we're not even really sure what kind of software that we want to use yet. Like, I think the main coding guy that we have was working with Qt, which I have not heard good things about. I haven't really talked to the guy about it. The guy's name is iQuare. You might have seen him in the chat before when earlier when you were here. But yeah, like I'm not 100% sure what it all looks like as far as that whole side of the scope is concerned. Oh, I guess we should do... Oh, Qt is brutal. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I know Ripcord is in Qt, and I use that instead of Discord because it's way more performant. I really just can't stand the fact that like these people just continue to add shit to. It's based off of Electron, which might as well be an operating system. Like I don't know why the fuck they need that for a chat client. But you know. It probably got destroyed by your antivirus, if I had to guess. Oh, Get Ahead is also using Qt. How unfortunate. No, alternate is for remastered, and this game, Hydra requires an older version of the game because the way that we mod stuff in this version of the game is without the tools that are allowed by the older version of the game, I can't do anything that I want to do for Hydra. So. Oh, really? That's funny. Yeah, I don't think he's interested in handing out his code base at all. We've basically, we've already decided it's probably better for us to just work on a new mapping tool. If you wanted to contribute through something like that, as opposed to direct plugin development, which would be used for like features and engine updates and stuff, that would actually help a lot, because if we end up using something open source, there's already an open source tool called CHK Draft by JJF28, which you may be somewhat familiar with if you've heard of it before. I am gonna check the StarEdit.net thread. No, I guess it's not in the most recent thing. I thought the last time I visited here it was. Wait, that's the wrong thing. If I had to go to, what is it, mapping tools, CHK Draft, yeah. So this has a GitHub link and open source map editor based on SEM Draft. You might already be familiar with this one, but this is basically like the big deal. I don't know what this is written in though. It looks like mostly C++, but it has some C, it has some Python, and then it has a bunch of other shit. The Python stuff is, thinking, but it's such a small percentage that maybe it's okay. The other thing that we could definitely use as far as tools go is a C++ driven alternative to the modding tools, because everything that we currently have is through Python, and it's so fucking slow. Veek was the guy who decided to work on the Python modding suite, which thankfully exists at all. The Python modding suite was made by a different person originally, and they've long since decided not to continue working on it, or if they do, it's very sporadic. So the open source nature of it was great, and it definitely is the most functional set of tools, but the fact that it's so slow and non-performant and inflexible with the libraries that it uses makes it really hard to continue to improve. Like past a certain point, we just don't get any performance out of it. This CHK draft thing, yeah, I'll toss a link there. And then if you wanted to take a look at the Python stuff, I can also drop you a link for that too, if I can find it. No problem. The CHK draft thing seems like it might be a really useful starting point. And then I guess I'll drop the CHK draft thread on Start at the forum if you wanted to take a look at that. has a bunch of his updates and stuff. It's obviously been in development since 2012 and still is not working fully. But if we could get something like that, that would be really nice. I don't know all the backend stuff. I know that iQuare, the other like the main programmer behind Hydra and similar things, um, he's the guy who put together like he's already put together some sort of additional shit. Like he's got some extra stuff being able to save load from maps. So he's basically found empty areas of the file structure for a map, and he's able to use that empty space to save accessory information that other map editors like SEM Draft and presumably CHK Draft don't interact with at all. So there's no issue with using SEM Draft on a map that's already been used by his mapping software, but he can currently use it for adding things like extended upgrade starting amounts. Like if you wanted to disable an extended upgrade, you could do so through this mapping tool. Because our extended upgrade doesn't mess around with the same data structure as the basic stuff. And that's going to be important as time goes on because we're going to extend the number of units that you can put into the game, which means that we're going to have to be able to disable those or modify their stats potentially or whatever people would need to do. We would need another tool to do that, unfortunately. So the accessory information is stuff like the extended data arrays, but it's also stuff like custom triggers, and eventually we want to be able to do stuff like there's like diplomacy settings and stuff like that, but eventually we want to be able to actually paint areas of the map for a bunch of different reasons. One of them being height, to implement a new height system that gives us unlimited numbers of height levels, so we can manually paint height data if we need to. And if there's manually painted height data, ideally that would override the in-game stuff. And then there's maybe some pathfinding stuff as well. I wouldn't mind being able to do that. So that's sort of like the Starcraft 2 editor, if you've ever used that. I would like to be able to paint something like that, because that's much better for handling shit than having to add in custom tiles just for the sake of having like an unwalkable area or whatever. But the most important and most ambitious part is basically creating AI-specific locations where you give the AI like a zone to build static defense in, or a zone to consider, like in a melee map, you basically customize the melee map to say natural, third, fourth, like possible fourth base, and like you set priorities and stuff to help the melee AI recognize and adapt to your map specifically. And that would eventually, once we get the tool and all that stuff operational, ideally that would basically become a new responsibility for melee map makers. In addition to making it work for everything else, they should also be able to add or customize AI support, basically, like add AI support to stuff. Yes, no briefing data is intended. I haven't. All that stuff is super beta. Like we are not even using map-specific AI yet. I'm still using melee-specific AI, or melee AI, generic AI, if you will. So there's still tons of stuff to update as time goes on. In fact, I'm in the process of remaking the first Terran mission, so I just haven't gotten very far with that because I decided to take a break to get a bunch of work done on oh yeah, that's right. I was going to add this. I decided to get a bunch of work done on the tile sets, which is what I was just doing. Oh boy. So what else have you been up to anyway, man? I don't know what you do for like for your spare time besides occasionally check up on mods of an epic variety. All right, he wanted bridges added. Yeah, you. Sorry, I should have been specific. Yeah, I might actually keep that. It was originally just to make it so that it's easier to test, like quickly jump into a test, but honestly, I got so used to it now. The fucking menus take forever, I feel like. Oh, okay. You actually. So, Balethal, tell me what you think of this idea. Right now, I'm placing these such that I'm basically going to make it so that you can place the beginning and end, and then middle pieces. Eventually, I figure we'll probably end up doing this for ramps as well. But I feel like that might end up being more useful. Or should I do it like W upper left, W upper middle, W upper right, and separate it out even more so you can place the leftmost part and then as many middles as you want, and then the rightmost part? I think maybe that would work. So it'd be something like these 3 chunks. .2D auto runner game. It's like Ninja Gaiden. I don't think I've played Ninja Gaiden. The one Ninja Gaiden game I played, or Gaiden, or however you say it, was like a weird arc. Like, it was almost like trying to be a fighter game, and it was. I think it was a really hard game, but I don't really remember. I know I don't remember much about it, but it was on like the original Xbox or something a long time ago. So wait, by finish you mean finish making or finish finish playing? I thought you were talking about finish playing a game, like you just got into it because you said there was competitive streams on Twitch. Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, there's people of all kinds of interests in the community, so you can definitely drop it in the. We use the gay channel to talk about games because what's life without a little juvenile nature? But feel free to drop it anywhere, man. Oh, competitive brood war. Okay, yeah, that's a bit different. Well, the organization on this is not the best, but I think it'll work out. Man, you want to talk about software that I would like to be modified? This is just ridiculous to me. We've got this brush index, but it's like super restrictive with how you can handle it. You can sort through medium, large, extra large, instead of just being able to like control and scroll, which would be nice for zooming. But look, I made a typo over here, and I can't rename it. I can only delete the entry, and I can't like reorder them either. So if I were to delete this entry and then remake it, it would be down here at the bottom. And then I can't like move it to another group. Like I can't change anything about it. I can't move it to another group. I can't even rename the groups themselves. Like now there's like only so much shit. You know what I mean? Anyway, I guess I should try this out anyway and see how intuitive it is. Like, what is even the point of the brush palette at that point? I don't know. If I can't be really, really specific with my organization. Oh, but I don't have the sides. That's a problem. Didn't think about that. Huh? Oh, yes, that makes sense. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I am much too tired. Error. Could not delete an item. No item is focused. Thanks. I was actually trying to delete every entry in this group. As in, I was trying to delete the group itself. Oh, I can't even group select. Can't multi-select. I gotta right-click, delete one by one to clear this whole thing. Oh, boy. my skull. All right, for now, I'm just gonna provide the actual bridges in here, and then maybe the other ones as well. I don't see much of a point in doing anything else. Well, I do see the point, but I'm much too tired to do it. If you are looking for competitive Brood War streams later on, I can recommend you a few. There's the guy. What's his name? I'll just drop some links in the YouTube chat in a sec. I can't deselect tiles by one. I just got to deselect the whole thing. Dude, when I go from Photoshop, using Photoshop for a long time, to trying to use SEM draft, I fucking lose my mind. Do I have any tiny ones in this map? Doesn't look like it. Oh, maybe I did that for a reason then. Yeah, it looks like I did. Oh, no! No! My skull! I forgot to save it! It doesn't automatically save when you make a change! Fuck! God damn it, man. Why? Kill me. You know I'm tired when I forget to save an SEM draft of all programs. Okay, I'll take a look at it on stream for you. As soon as I finish flagellating myself for my fuck up. Yeah. It's placeholder until we get it fully custom assets. It's supposed to be asteroids. Okay. All right, we saved now, boys. Hey, can you fuck off to where you're supposed to be? Thanks. Bridges are in the platform file. I'm just gonna probably not so quickly add the not the stacks, but some of the high dirt shit. I didn't even select anything, and obviously, of course, why wouldn't it just overwrite my selection, man? I would wait until I make the some changes to this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, if I can't even show you this. Well, I can now. Do you see this? You see how I can't fucking move it? I can't even close it. Hello? I have to actually fucking close the entire thing. Like, wow, man. Nice. What the fuck? I just want to resize it and it snaps instead of being dynamically resizable. At least tab works. I really wish it didn't delete the name either. I'm writing the same fucking name over and over again. Yeah, I knew this wasn't going to be particularly quick. All I need to do is start misspelling south. What does this say? Open IME. What the fuck? Okay. Whatever you say. SCM draft. So, hey, Spider, how's it feel, as a guy who's made some melee maps, to know that there exist functioning, visually reasonable north-facing ramps in the game? And it only took somebody other than Blizzard to make it happen. Oh. I think I only have to do inner corners, right? That's it. I think that not having north-facing ramps makes the game incomplete, to be honest. Like, it literally stops you from doing basic shit in level design. Well, I'm going through the original Starcraft campaign right now, and I'm talking about how ass backwards it was. Honestly, Brood War was, for all intents and purposes, a fluke. I'm glad the fluke happened, but it was a fluke. Yeah, definitely. Without the map editor, I don't think that we ever would have seen stuff like SEM draft and so on. One thing that is kind of fucked up, though, is that without SEM draft, nothing, like the entire fucking melee scene in Korea would have been, at the very least, it would have been changed forever. And yet I don't think that guy ever gets anything. You know, like nobody ever gives him a little pat on the back. Like maybe he gets a pat on the back. That might be it, though. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of fucked up. I mean, obviously I give him shit all the time for not finishing the not actually continuing to update the program, but and not releasing it for open source or whatever. But I think it's kind of crazy that his editor is the only reason why the Melee scene got to the point that it did, and I don't know if anybody even gives a fuck about him. You know what I mean? Like all those Koreans, without him as editor, like that's what made it all possible. Like the Melee map makers get their due usually. I don't know about money, but they get, you know, attention and stuff. I'm not sure you can say the same about the guy who made the fucking editor. But whatever. Just a weird thing that I was thinking about recently. Oh wow, yeah. I guess so. That's a known thing then. Not exactly surprising. Or unforeseeable, we'll say. Depends on the map. I think the first map might not. Rest of them should. Sorry about that. I can actually update the first map so that it does have victory triggers. Pretty soon, after I'm done with this nonsense. Oh. I don't think I've heard of you. Dude, that's M. Unlike N. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A long time ago, you watched Jay Barino playing Consummate. Man, what a sentence. Yeah, I feel like in Consummate put quote unquote put me on the map, if you know what I mean. Which is weird to think about. I gotta go hunt down my fucking high asphalt. Oh wait, don't I have high asphalt in this? Or maybe I only did dirt asphalt edge. Oh no, I did do high asphalt. High dirt asphalt. Hell yeah. Dude, I'm so good. There we go. Alright, we'll try this. Oh, Jay Marino will? I don't think so. Jay and I had a little bit of a personal disagreement, shall we say, a while ago. And since then, I don't think he's really that interested in playing any of my content. But even if he was interested in playing StarCraft 1 content, more broadly speaking, and didn't care about whether or not I was the author, he's probably not going to be interested in playing Hydra because it mandates improvement, right? It mandates a certain level of skill and that you demonstrate that skill every time. That's like the bare minimum, right? And I don't think Jay's at that skill level, but I think he surely could reach it, given enough persistence. It's just that usually he's not that. I think he's very conscious of his audience. He doesn't want to put them through a lot of the same stuff over and over again while he learns to get good at something. And I'm not convinced he would really want to learn to get good at something anyway, because he's got a job and he considers games more to be that entertainment thing as opposed to something along the lines of tool for improvement, right? Or having the competition, conceptualizing the competitive nature of it be the entertainment, as some competitive minded players end up conceptualizing it at. So I think it's just two different worlds of thought, two different schools of thought there. A veteran in terms of time, not skill, yeah. Well, that's the thing. He's seen a lot of content, but that's about it. I think I'm still not 100%. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I just copied it over that. Okay. There's many moving parts to this fucking ramp. And then... Oh, and then... I mean, this is like basically ancient history now, but yeah, there was some goofiness. Yeah, that was a little bit of a question mark there. A little bit of a thinking emoji. All right, well, feast your eyes, boys. We got high dirt cliffs, inner corners, outer corners, and we got doodads and ramps. So that's in there. I'll go ahead and update that. Dude, what if I didn't save after all that? That would have been hilarious. I didn't bother mentioning that one. No, that is pretty fucking funny. I don't even. Is it? Oh yeah, he does say I've defended Tarsonis over however 30 major battles. I think that's the line he says. I didn't know about like 20 years or whatever. Hey, he says major battles too, which presumes that there's a bit more going on there. Holy shit, I just realized this whole time I could have been a little bit more properly lit. Wow, honestly, I can't believe it's only been 3 hours since I started this stream. I don't normally stream this late, so this is pretty fucking nuts. Oh. So I thought it was like I accidentally streamed for 5 hours. All right, so you wanted me to take a look at this map real quick, so I shall. So yeah, I definitely think that the increase... wait, this is the wrong fucking one. Well, how funny it would have been if I pulled open the... If I just decided, oh, let me just pull open the older version and start talking about how good it is. Oh yeah, I really love the increased space here. All right, let me take a look. Okay, so first things first, I really like the new mid by comparison. I do think maybe it's a little too much of the same in terms of the linearity. And you might consider removing this like pipe doodad over here. Or maybe the geyser doodads over here. So one of these, or maybe both of those, and turn those into some ramps so that you can go into this base. You'll have to reshuffle the minerals a little bit, and maybe move those doodads behind the mineral line to prevent like units getting right underneath them. But at the same time, maybe you want to be able to place defensive structures and tanks and whatever over there too. So maybe it's fine the way it is. What I like about that, the idea of shifting it over that way, right, is it'll allow you to pivot around, but it'll also allow you to answer to it. So that's why I think maybe just one ramp and maybe keeping it over on the side where this pipe doodad is. What that would potentially allow for is for you to add a ramp down here from this like little upraised area. And so that from the middle, like mid control becomes super important if you do that. It's already pretty useful, I think, but mid control becomes really important and much more easy to just navigate as well. Like the middle of the map becomes easier to navigate because what ends up happening is you want to basically take, I'm going to open this in Photoshop because I'm trying to like select shit to show you guys what I'm talking about here, but it's not working because it's just an image. Okay, so you would want, maybe you want to do something like move a unit over here for defense or whatever, and oh, you see enemies like, just getting my brush ready here. So like you see enemies coming through this way, or even coming through like this, right? Like you just took an engagement over here, and so you see enemies coming that way, and your units are like over here, over here, over here. You can like position them around here to flank, or you could just, you know, walk up here or whatever. And I like the idea of just making this area a bit more significant as well. I think you'd probably have to push, you might even push the whole mineral field in this direction so that there's like, the minerals are along this wall and like cave this bit in a little bit or something. You might need to rework that area a little bit more to support this idea if you wanted to go with it. But I like the idea of having a mid that basically has different significance depending on what of the nearby area you actually own. And so I think if you were able to like, you know, walk through here, obviously, which and again, I think the mid generally is an improvement over the old mid, but also being able to pivot up here. The other way that my suggestion works is you can take a unit that's in the middle of the map or a small squad like vultures or something, sort of harassment unit. You can move them to the middle of the map and you can pivot up into this high ground area to take an engagement if your enemy doesn't have the high ground. Like you can very quickly get from lowest ground to highest ground in terms of height level. And that can open up some very nice pivots in the middle of a match for the sake of like micro and army movements. that can be a way for players to express a decent amount of skill there. Now, the first thing that I'm going to say about that, I mean, obviously, is we don't currently have a blend for the ramp that would work in the way that I'm talking about, because it would like the left side of it would be like down here. So you might have to pull the cliff forward a little bit to support something like this, which is another reason why you might have to rework the overall area, or you're just going to have to deal with having a cliff that looks kind of fucked until I even can make a blend for that. But I do think that that might work out pretty well. Yeah, I do map analysis like this all the time, but usually I have the map in front of me instead of an image. But this is fine too. So I saw that that Spider was over in the Discord chat. He was looking at saying turn this into a natural. You basically, like, I agree with the idea that the natural should be closer, but this is one of those areas where you're kind of running into the map bound issue again. So what I might suggest is you actually seal this off by connecting the high grounds, and you push these resources, and you just push them over here, like with the terrain over here or whatever, right? So you're like pulling this cliff out and then also attaching it over here. Also, you have this. I guess you have this as like a doodad or something for the sake of. Like, obviously, you can't replicate that doodad on the other side, right? So it's not really symmetrical. But then you could put a ramp like on this side or something to make it so that, yes, it's a natural, but the resources are up against a cliff. And so maybe that's, if you want to encourage players to walk across this ramp, that might be some way to do it, even if there's no ramp up there. Backdoor naturals? Yes. So the middle player has a backdoor natural. I think this is actually fine considering the idea that this is a 3v3 map. Like, one player has a bit more of a oh, you've got a command center over here. One player might, just has a different kind of setup. I do think that maybe you could work in the current dead space around the actual just space, right? This is empty space. This could probably be worked into the map a bit better. I'm thinking maybe as you take off these high platform areas over here, right? So we take these out, and then this actually becomes platform, right? So you just like turn platform into all this, and when this becomes platform, it's like buildable space that you can use. Maybe even becomes high platform, say like a segmented bit of high platform that you can use for drops or whatever onto the more vulnerable players' minerals if you wanted to do something like that. Yeah, this is a 3v3 map. So if you were to do something like that, I think it would help the overall conceptualization of the map is all. Just a little bit more utility over there. So it makes it feel a little bit more purposeful. But I also understand that the space aesthetic itself is still reflected in that area, and maybe that's something valuable as well. Maybe you consider using the catwalk that I've added, but again, I don't actually know if that might not be reasonable to even bother with right now, because I think it's a mess in the tile index. What else? I do think that the currently significant naturals or whatever. I don't know why it's not showing my brush. Oh, propagate frame 1? No, I have no idea. Sometimes Photoshop does strange things. Anyway, I think that looking at this, like under normal circumstances, I would suggest finding some way to get into this back door through a really long-winded pathway rather than it being something that you can easily access. Because not only is it a backdoor expansion, thus being very safe, the distance between the main and the expansion is also very short, which means defender's advantage isn't even in concern. It's like if a backdoor expansion is further out, you can imagine why it might work out such that, okay, he's got a backdoor expansion, but if I drop him or if I somehow get units over there because I've like got speed vultures or speedlings, it's going to take longer for him to reinforce that area. I've got more time to wreak havoc. if I catch him off guard. Something like that. You don't have that in this particular case. Oh, wait. Dummy. Okay, so what else do we have here? I think the map flow is definitely improved by the spacing. When you rework it so that the naturals are up here, which I think we all agree should probably be done. Oh, welcome back. Might move the back ramps outward then after filling in the space tiles. Yeah, I mean, maybe that works too. Like moving the backwards ramps a little bit further and then making it so that there's less build space immediately in the that backwards expansion means that if you want to defend it, you kind of have to build like turrets over here or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're going to do with that. These are all just suggestions, but I do feel pretty strongly about Spider's suggestion to move the expansions there, and I think that the middle change would probably be pretty useful too. So when you change the middle as well, you're probably going to, again, reorient these expansions so that they're almost like opposite each other. So like these are over here. You know, the minerals are over here on this side, and then like these minerals are over here. Something like that. Like, that's probably how you're going to end up moving them, if I had to guess. Just so that there's a bit more maneuverability over here. You might even consider sealing the low ground passageways into this area off completely and making it so that there's one, like a ramp that goes down here. Or maybe you just seal one side off so that you have to use the high ground. I don't know. You could play around with something like that, making it so that it's harder to access from the low ground. You have to, like, go up to go down to go in there. I think that might work. DF does make a good point in the Mark Time strategy that these high ground expos over here are really, really spacious. So if you were to shrink the high ground expos themselves and then turn these solar panel areas into islands, that would like expand them out to become island expansions. That would add more resources to the map, which would facilitate longer games. That would add islands to the map, which is like a nice change of map pacing, such that it allows for different strategies, and it would save on some empty space in these expansions and obviously resolve the empty space issue with the panels themselves. And like he says as well, you could also just connect them directly if you wanted to make it so that they weren't island expansions but still were far away or something. So I really like the framework here. I think making some minor alterations to the middle of the map and reworking the naturals to be over here. You might even keep the current naturals as thirds and rework that area a bit more to perhaps offer more build space in the third and less build space in the natural, so that if you're a player like a Terran or Protoss player that wants to build a lot of factories in the early stages of the game, maybe you take the third first, even though it's less defender's advantage, just so that you can parlay it into more gateways or more factories or whatever you're trying to build. Or maybe you just take that sooner or something like that. Like, there's a bunch of different ways that you could do that. And then, yeah. So I'm down with that. I think that the map will definitely be really fun to play on the next Fraud Night, which is coming up on Saturday. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that in action. I'll say the solar panel arrays over here are nice breakups from the visual. Like they serve to break up the visual palette a little bit. The other thing that these do is obviously they stop building space over here, which is fine, I think. You might consider adding a couple more of those solar panels in a few different areas to stop building space in other sections. But I'm not, like, nothing immediately comes to mind as to where you might put that. If you see some opportunities to do that and you think it would be a net positive to force better decision making, maybe you could do that to squish some build space in some of the more spacious expansions. Obviously, we don't have high solar plating yet. I haven't made that tile, but when I do, I will add it to the tile set, put it in the brush system, and obviously make it unbuildable. So yeah, that's all that's coming to my mind. If I were a little bit more awake, a little bit less sleep deprived, I probably would have more ideas for you, but that's it for now. Nice. Looking forward to seeing the next draft and to play on an updated version, or any version, I guess, on Fraud Night. It'd be nice. Definitely need a couple more 6 and 8 player maps to lose against the AI on. Okay, so I've updated the brushes. I've done a bunch of other work on the tile set. I've updated the maps. I did some housekeeping earlier today with the GitHub stuff. Didn't get a huge amount of work done on any content itself, really just giving myself more tools to make better content in the future. But that does mean that we can actually work on the reworked TO1 layout tomorrow, first Terran map. I do have to get some stuff done for iQuare, some desert tiles, which are much the same vein as what I was doing before for High Dirt. So I hope I'm not completely burnt out about that stuff, because that was obviously quite the experience to do. But with any luck, we'll be able to power through that. That's pretty much all I got for now. So I'll be chilling out before I pass out in the near future, despite the fact that it's pretty early, because I did not sleep very well last night. But I'll be back tomorrow for another mod stream, bright and early in the morning, around 9 o'clock Eastern time. And yeah, the Let's Play video is already out, so enjoy that. And yeah, tomorrow I should be able to make another Let's Play video as well. So we should be able to get all the way up to episode 6, maybe bang out the entire Protoss campaign. We'll see. And that'll be nice. So that's the plan. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for everybody hanging out and talking shit. And yeah, bye. See ya.